Hello everybody, what are we doing today on Let's Get Cooking? You can see here with this beautiful piece of meat, it's an eye round. You know what eye round sounds like? Nothing. But we're going to turn this into roast beef. A nice medium rare roast beef that we're going to slice on the slicer. I'm going to put in the sous vide. I've never done it before myself, so we'll see how it turns out. Let's get this camera up top so I can actually show you how to put the spices on it. So I'm going to give you a list of ingredients. I already mixed them together right here. We also have some olive oil. Or actually, yep, just olive oil. It's not extra virgin, just regular olive oil. So I'll give you a list of ingredients in the order of the most to the least, because I didn't measure them. I never do. Like I said, I don't like recipes. Sea salt. Coarse ground, that'd be your biggest thing you're putting in there. Black pepper, a little bit less, but you know, it's up to you. That's why I want you to watch this stuff, because it's up to you how much you put in there. Garlic powder, onion powder. Then for me, I added some cayenne at the end just to give it a little kick. So first thing we do, we grab this olive oil, and you can see I already have the meat trussed up. If you want to learn how to truss meat, there's plenty of YouTube videos out there to do it. It's not hard, so don't get intimidated. You just need some butcher's twine. Easy. I would even have go to say you might not even have to truss this meat up. It's already round. You put it in a vacuum sealer. It might just pull it round. I'm not gonna take that chance. It's not cheap. So put a little bit of olive oil on there. Rubbing it around like you're giving your old lady a massage. And if you don't give your old lady a massage, maybe you need to. Then, all sides, just shaky, shaky. Keep on going around. There is a lot of salt in here, but you know what? We're gonna be cutting this really thin. So trust me, each slice does not have much on it, so you really have to, we'll go around again. We're gonna use all this. Keep on going until we use it all up. And there's a lot here. This little piece of meat, which weighs about 2.5 pounds. Just keep on putting it in there. We want this meat to be saturated. The ends, yeah, that first slice is gonna be super salty, super peppery. So I really don't focus too much on them. But the sides, heck yeah. You get it on there. You just roll it. Pull that meat in. Whoop, moving the whole thing. I'm gonna stumble the cutting board. I'm gonna keep on pulling it in. Put it on top. I want this thing to have everything in it. Especially that cayenne, because I love a little heat. Rub it around. Plus, that salt, since it's coarse salt, just gets in the meat and rips it up a little bit. Helps the rest of them get in there. Alright. Now, woo! Spices flying around in the air. Got me a little bit there. Anyway. I need the vacuum sealer out. Seal it up. Woo! Damn. Anyway, get the vacuum sealer out and seal her up. We'll get them in this sous vide. Alright. So you can see here, we got our roast beef, or eye round. It's not roast beef yet. We will stick this in this sous vide bag. Yeah, let's stick it sideways. As much room for the air as we can. Let's get rid of that. Wash that off. Unfold this. I always give my sous vide bags a lot of room, because if you don't, juices, the juices will get you. This might not have a lot of juices, but other things do. So they will creep up on you and get you. It's gonna get loud. It's getting there. It's a lot of air in there. Start pulling it in. There it goes. And it's sealing. Didn't have much juices, probably because it's a really lean piece of meat. But look how good that looks. That looks nice. Got lots of spices on there getting pulled right into that meat right now. And there we go. She's sealed. So I will get that in the sous vide. 3 hours. 135 degrees. Hopefully. After that, we'll sear it. Sear the outside real quick, and then we're going to get it cold before we slice it up. See you then. How's it going? Now, it was overnight. I'm sorry, everybody. 3 hours in there. I was tired. I wasn't about to stay up all night. So I took it out at 3 hours, and then I put it in the refrigerator to harden up a little bit. Because if you ever sliced one of these, you definitely know you don't want to do it warm. They don't slice very well, especially with the, I have a cheaper slicer. I'll show it to you here in a minute. So when I cut this open, we are going to save the juices in this. There's a good amount of juices. We're going to save them because guess what goes with roast beef so well? Mushrooms and onions. I love them. Anyway, let me get this open. We'll see how much juices. I'm going to cut it near the top. So I get as much of these juices as I possibly can out of this thing. Ugh. There we go. Let me get this juice container. The juice grabber. Ugh. I feel so awkward doing this all the time. I'm going to do something horrible. No, there's not a whole lot of juices, which is good. It's a very lean piece of meat, but boy, those juices, even if they're cold, they smell good. Ooh, there we go. Get every lip. I wish I could just take a squeegee and get it all out of there. And then we'll get the meat out. Now, I'm a little bit dirty. It's okay. Now, the twine I bound this with, trussed it up with, is dug in good. I didn't lose a whole lot of size. The size is not a whole lot, it's still pretty hefty. It should be medium rare. I like mine pink the whole way through. Because eventually what I'm going to do is with this juice we collected, and the onions and the mushrooms I put in there, I'm going to add some beef broth to this. It's going to make it a nice little au jus. Is it au jus? Au jus, sorry, au jus. Anyway, au jus sauce, they'll dip this in. So when it's that medium rare, when you dip it in that hot, sauce, and then you put it on the bun, it's gonna, change its consistency a little bit. It's gonna cook it really quick. So we're gonna slice this kind of thin, so it's really bite through when you get into the sandwich. So what I'm gonna do is, I have to sear this yet too. So I'm gonna get it over to the stove. We'll get the camera over there. We'll brown it up, and then we're also gonna, cook the onions, the mushrooms with a little bit of butter. Dump this in there. Dump a little bit more beef juice in there, and then we'll be ready to assemble. After I can slice it too. I'll get the slicer out. Alright, see you then. Okay, everybody, here we go. Pan's pretty hot. I just put some oil in there, olive oil on this one. If you want to use a higher temperature oil, I don't want to get this so scorching hot that it smokes up my whole house, Sorry about any lens flare going on right now. Actually, I think it's from the... Is that better? Yeah, it is. Anyway. Now, I'm going to put this in here. I don't even have it on that high. It's medium heat. I am not going to do the east, the north, and the south here. Why? May you ask? Because I'm slicing this thing. That's the direction I'm slicing it. Against the grain. So, once I slice off that end, As long as the piece is going to have any of the char on there, or, you know, nice taste. So there's no point in doing that side. It might make it look better. I did leave the trussing on right now. It's still there if you can see it. I'm not sure if you can see it. It's kind of embedded itself in. I did leave it on for now because, you know, it's holding its shape well. But this will just solidify the fact of holding that shape because I want as much cross-sectional area when I'm slicing this as I can get. I don't want, you know, big old thin long slices. I want nice round like you'd see in the store. I only know how much roast beef costs in the store. I haven't bought it in years. I mean, maybe what, a nice, really superb, medium rare. I'm guessing it's at least $10 a pound. And this is around 2 pounds, a little over, this is the hair over 2 pounds. And it's fresh, and you get to do it yourself. You have to put your own seasonings on there. Yeah, it's worth $30 a pound to me. Anyway, we'll sit here and let this cook. I might speed up the video as it's cooking, because it might take, you know, a couple minutes on each side, and that's just a waste of your time, wasting my time.
You be all in your feelings. I've been all in them trenches. Know they notice me flexing.
Then after this, we'll get the onions, mushrooms going. We'll dump this grease out, use butter. Because butter's better. Tastes so good. Okay. The butter is starting to brown. Butter is starting to brown. So, you can see, I like to leave my onions with as much integrity as they can have. As big as they can, because they're going to cook down. They're going to be all floppy and soft. You don't want to put them too small, they'll just fall off when you're done cooking them. Mushrooms, then put a whole lot in there. This is for one sandwich, so I'm not going to get all these onions in one sandwich. I probably won't even get all these mushrooms in one sandwich. But, you know, I used one whole onion and maybe two. And trust me, cut your mushrooms thicker. Splash myself. They work so much better. Now get these all coated. I'm not good at flipping around. You know, use a spoon or something. I don't know what to tell you. I'm good at it. I'm gonna cook these down. I'm gonna add just a little bit of salt to these, just so it starts releasing the juices. Not a whole lot, because I'm about to throw in that all that gravy that came off that meat. And it has a lot of salt in it too, so this is just a little bit just to get the, start to pull the water out of these things. Turn it up a little bit more, get this thing going. I know you guys don't cook all day, neither do I. It really doesn't take that long. I just want to get a little bit of caramelization on these. Dump in the sauce that came off, or the, you know, juices that came off the meat. And then a little bit of beef broth also. Just a little bit of garlic. Put the garlic in last, because if you put that garlic in now and it burnt, oof, disgusting. So let that go. And I'll be right back. Well, here we go. They're getting a little bit floppy. They're not so stiff anymore. That's what I want. I want to cook them down to death. I never do. I'm going to add some chopped garlic out of the one of those pre-chopped ones in a jar with some water. They're not as strong, so you do have to add a little bit more. If you're using fresh garlic, cut it down. I just don't feel like chopping it or decloving it. But it'll be good. You don't need to let that cook very long, because it's going to sit in there with the broth and just get all delicious. Alright, now she's all getting all cooked back up. We take the broth that we got from the meat itself, You can hear that just calm it right down. Now this is when the flipping. It's still flipping. It'll start picking back up because that juice was cold. Like I said, it was in the refrigerator. But also, I'm going to add some beef broth. Say that 8 times fast. Beef broth though. Not easy. This does have all the seasonings, you know, that was on that meat. So that's why I don't add a whole lot. Garlic, of course. Of course I'm going to add some more. Just letting these incorporate a little bit. And then I'm going to dump in the beef broth and let this simmer while I slice up the meat, get everything else ready. So here's the beef broth. I'm going to add maybe, well, let's see, this thing is, it's one of those big containers, 48 ounces. So I'm probably going to add half of that, so about 24 ounces of beef broth. Enough that this stuff will simmer and I can dip the meat in it. That's about it. That thing's about half gone. Anyway, we're gonna let that simmer. Then I'm gonna get the slicer out and we're gonna show you what it looks like. And here we are again. Now, roast beef's done. The onions are done. Mushrooms are done. Only a couple things to do. Just assemble this bad boy and cut it. So we have 2 ways to cut this thing. We can either use a knife or a meat slicer. Today I'm going to use a meat slicer. You might not have one. I like to get mine really thin, so it's really bite through. I mean, it's bite through. I've cut them before with knives, and if you have a really good sharp knife, you can get them pretty thin with a steady hand. I'm getting older, so my steady hands aren't so steady anymore. So that, I'm going to put on a nice pretzel bun. If you've never had pretzel buns, try them out, especially for something like this. They have a really good integrity. They can take that juice that's going to come off from dipping this meat. And then also, some nice fresh, I mean, you can use whatever cheese you want, but I found from the deli a nice thin sliced Swiss. This is like a what they call a Swiss lace, so the holes aren't so big. They're like little baby holes and everything. So let me get this pulled out of here and I will show you how it comes out. We'll see how medium rare and how good this looks. Alright, I got the slicer all set up. I'm only going to cut enough for 1 sandwich. Like I said, I live by myself. There's no point of doing this whole thing because it keeps its integrity. If you slice it all at once, the stuff will start to turn gray in the refrigerator. If you freeze it right away or vacuum seal it, then you're good. But if you stick it in a Ziploc bag or something, it'll start to gray up after a while. So best thing to do is just cut what you need. I already set the thickness. It's maybe like, you know, less than 1/8. This thing is, I've had it for quite a few years. It was less than $100. It does have a serrated blade on it. It's not the nice ones with the nice, you know, non-serrated blades on, but you know, it works. It does if you push too hard. Eventually it gets thicker and thicker, but I tried not to. I'll probably cut 4 or 5 slices. We'll see how they look. And then we'll assemble the sandwich. It's gonna get a little loud, because you know what machinery does. It does get loud. Here we go. See, the first slice is a little bit weird, but it's flattening out now. Might be a hair too thin, but you know what? We'll just keep going here. Woo, flipped it around on me. That's a good thing, though. Gets rid of that really weird, rough edge. Up. Now look at that. That is some nice looking roast beef. I mean, nice and pink the whole way through. It's not bloody. Really, it's not. It's just pink. It looks good. Let me get this pushed out of the way, get this wrapped back up, throw it back in the refrigerator, and we'll start assembling.
You be all in your feelings.
Alright, here's the final result. You saw what I put on it. Had some mayonnaise on the bottom with a little bit of horseradish in there. I like to get, I wouldn't say it's straight horseradish, but it's from the store. It says horseradish. I don't know if it's really 100% horseradish. Horseradish, mayonnaise mix on the bottom. I dunked my meat just for a little bit, just to warm it up in the juice that we did earlier. A little bit of onions, a little bit of mushrooms, 2 pieces of that thin Swiss. Threw it in the broiler real quick just to melt it down. And then the bun on top. I did toast the buns too, so you want to keep them, so they don't get all mushy, because there is a lot of juice. And that's all left, just try it out. See how this sous vide did. I guess I'll have to do it. That'll be the punishment. Ooh, that cheese just sticking. This is cheese by itself. Pretty good. I love Swiss though. Maybe you don't. Like I said, put provolone or something on it if you don't like it. Cheddar, I don't care. Arby's, I think, puts like a cheese whiz on there sometimes. Yeah, I don't need to say anything. I don't think I even needed teeth. Even bite through that. So bite through. So much flavor from the beef, the onions, the mushrooms. I could taste every bit of it. A little bit of horseradish that blows through my nose. Oh, the little bit of crisp from the pretzel bun. That's why I love them pretzel buns. I'm gonna take one more bite. Just one more. Please don't judge me. Now, I'm gonna be honest. Before I did this part of the video, I made one earlier that I hand sliced, and guess what? Just as good. I sliced it pretty thin. I had a pretty sharp knife. It might have been slightly thicker than this, but you know what? The bite through is the same. So yeah, sous vide. Did it again. Next time maybe I'll try smoking one. I've already done that. I do like the smoky taste in there. This one doesn't have it. I guess I could have used a liquid smoke in it. If you like everything, or if I'm doing something wrong, comment, subscribe. You'll see a lot more of me. Let's get cooking.